Okay. Hello, good morning. My name is Oluwaseyi Olaririn from RxAcademy. I'm the sales lead Nigeria for RxAcademy. Welcome to another edition of our monthly webinar for October. So the topic of the webinar today is maximizing your pharmacy or hospital potential with the franchise network. So it promises to be an exciting package here. And I'm not alone, as you always know. With me is the MD of RxAcademy Pharmacy. Yeah. Pharmacist Adebayo Badamosi. He's the CEO of RxAcademy Pharmacy. So in a minute, we'll start. But before we get into that, I would like to appreciate some of our members on call. I might not be able to mention everybody, but I appreciate the fact that we're all on this call and we want to learn or share our experiences when it comes to franchise network. So we'll begin in a minute. Let's just give some time for more people to join, and we'll start the session. So just stay tuned. Okay, I think we'll kick off momentarily. So before we go on into before I hand over to pharmacist Adebayo, I want to run down a little bit about him and the reason why is actually our guest of honor today. So pharmacist Adebayo Badamosi is the CEO of RxAcademy Pharmacy, and he has over 7 years experience in retail. And then on top of that, he has 2 retail outlets here in the city of Ibadan. And we all know that it takes a lot of experience to run and effectively manage a retail pharmacy. And when we're talking about franchise network, it starts with multiple. Well, we'll get to it when he starts the presentation anyways. So he has 7 years experience in retail pharmacy. He has some past experiences in other fields relating to what we are going to be discussing today. And on top of it, he's an active member of the ACPN in Oyo State. He's the secretary of the association. And without further ado, I would like to introduce to us pharmacist Badamosi Adebayo. So what do you find?
Just get to the first part.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. As Sheya said, my name is from Adebayo Badamose from Robacare Pharmacy. Today, we shall be looking at the topic, maximizing your pharmacy / hospital potentials with a franchise network. This topic, for me, is a very important topic for professionals. Why did I say that? Let us look at my introduction. I look at it that as a pharmacy owner or hospital, we are 2 in 1. What do I mean by 2 in 1? We are a pharmacist, you are either a pharmacist, you are a doctor, and also you are a businessman. Most times we do well as professionals, but we fail in the business aspect of it. Why? The primary objective of a businessman is different from the primary objective of a professional. A businessman is to make profit, while the professional is to provide services. But as a professional that will maximize its potential, you have to do what? You have to be able to merge the two. You have to be able to merge the two. Now, I have, okay. All right. You can see from here now, you have a successful professional is a pharmacist doing well in the pharmacy. A lot of people are coming in, a doctor doing well in the hospital, but you as a professional, do you do well as a businessman? Do you make enough profits? Do we make enough profits? Sorry. Let me remove this. All right. So I have a school for every professional, a school of thought we look at for every professional, especially pharmacists or doctors, with all our potentials. Do we really maximize it? Do we maximize it? Are we deliberate as we provide our services to maximize our potentials by making profits? And profit making is deliberate. That is why franchise network is one of the ways a professional like ours can fully unleash its potentials. Now, let us look at networking. We will break down that franchise. We have franchise networking. Let's look at networking. Networking, for me, is an exchange of information and ideas among people with common professionals, or can we remove this? Oh, shit. As I was saying, networking is the exchange of information and ideas among people with a common profession or special interest. Sorry, 1 minute. I was just trying to, Now, as we said earlier, we look at networking. Networking is very important for every businessman because it involves exchange of information, ideas among people with a common profession or special interest, and aim to build relationships and network, which is very important. The network you build in your business determines your net worth. Your network determines your network. Now, that's why you have a good, reliable network can bring in new clients, potential partners, business, and career opportunities and seasoned mentors. Let's look at the type of networks we have. We have two types of networks I'll just talk about here, but the major topic we'll be going into franchising, franchise network. But before we go into franchise network, I'll talk about social networking. For everybody, there's nobody or business that is an island to itself, but it will need to interact with other businesses of like minds to move to the next level. That's why you see Dangote, Otedola, and all the rest, they are friends. They network, they share information. As professionals, let us look for people that have gone before us, people that did better than us. Let's share information. Let us ask questions. The Yorubas, we always say, anybody that asks, if you ask for the way, you will not get lost. And that is why it's very important that you network with people that have gone before you, with people that are at the same level with you, so that as you share information, you get better. Now, we now go to the franchising that we are here to talk about. I'll just talk about franchising. Franchising, for some of us that know about it, for some that know a little bit, we go in depth into franchising so that we'll use that knowledge to see how we can unleash the potentials of professionals. Franchising is a contractual agreement between two legal independent firms. That you must have two independent firms, in which one firm, the franchisee, pays the other firm, the franchisor, for the right to sell the franchisor product or the right to use its trademark and business format in a given location for a specific period of time. Please note, franchising is between two legally independent firms. One is the franchisee, one is the franchisor. Very important. The franchisor sells his product, is selling either a product or a system. And the franchise format has evolved over time to include variation ranging from basic right to sell a product to a more complex agreement that might include branding, manufacturing, sales, distribution, and all operational processes associated with running a business. Now, franchising is, we've seen it, but we might not know that is what franchising is. It involves we'll go on and explain more later, but you should know that it involves product and systems. It might not be tangible, it can be a service and it can be a product. That's what franchise is all. Selling it, someone has it and is selling it to the other person. Now, let's look at franchise. It's a form of marketing. Franchising is a form of marketing and is a marketing strategy. According to Mark Cannon in 1965, in his own word, he says, franchising is a professionally managed and centrally programmed network, pre-engineered to achieve operating economics and maximum market impact. What do I mean? For every franchise, it is packaged to make profits and to make maximum impact in the market. It's a package, it's already packaged, it's already formatted. It is not something that you need to look at, how do we get to A to B to Z is already set there. And as we should know that franchising is a strategic option in marketing. And entrepreneurship. As an entrepreneur, we must also consider it. And it may seem new in Nigeria, or it's not new in Nigeria. Some of us know about it because of the proliferation of fast food outlets, such as McDonald's, Kentucky Fried Chickens in the US. You can see that all the KFC you see in Nigeria, all the McDonald's you see in Nigeria, they are owned by Nigerians, but it's a franchise bought from the companies in the US. That is how it works. It's not that KFC comes from US to come and establish a company in Nigeria. No, that's not how it works. They sell, the franchisor, which is McDonald's, sells the franchise to a Nigeria who is ready to operate, do their business the way they should do. And that has enjoyed, this strategy has enjoyed in the recent years people have been doing it since World War I. That's the history. And in the US, the automobile dealership company started it, in which they make cars and what do? They licenses, they franchise it to somebody that is ready to sell all of that cars. Maybe like in the US, Chevrolet, they have companies that is a dealership of Chevrolet. That's the only thing that he or she wants to sell. And it does an advertise for that company and sells that product. And if you could see from ESCET 1976, he pointed out that franchising contributed to 1/4 of the total retail sales in the US in 1970. The world is now a global village. Whatever happens in US can also happen in Nigeria. Franchising is something that as businessmen, we should start looking at so that we can maximize our potentials. Franchising, like marketing, has no single definition. There are many of them. Some of this definition is centered on concept. It can be on a concept, others on activities, and yet a lot more on the contract agreement of the franchisee. An understanding of this concept, the activities and contract is therefore very necessary. What am I saying? Franchising is not one-way traffic. We have different types. It comes in different forms. It all has to do with somebody that has something to offer. A franchisor has a system, he has a product, he has a concept that is ready to sell to you. He has an idea, he sells it to you, he's already packaged, he's already set. It's a running system that is selling to you, and for you just to keep it running. Now, let's look at the history, what has happened in franchising. According to Muller and Shevers in 1976, we find that careful observers of business today, we note that the appearance of new approaches to doing business to meet the changes condition. That's, we need to start doing new things because competition is increasing and so many other things. And one of the new approaches they say is called the franchising system. Let's look, in Nigeria, franchising is gaining ground among small businesses. It's an alternative to forming new businesses from the scratch. It's not everybody that has the money to go and develop a business idea and every other thing, but franchising leaves you, it helps you start a business not from the scratch. So franchising is so fundamental and so responsive to changing economic conditions in Nigeria today that many ailing companies, even companies that are doing businesses, are being revitalized through franchise arrangement. According to Izelibe, 1990, he talked that franchising has helped some existing business to revitalize. And also statistics, though not in Nigeria, shows that the rate of failure in franchise businesses is far by less than that for franchise businesses. The rate at which a franchise business will fail, you cannot compare it with a business that is starting from the ground, from the scratch. Any business that is starting from the scratch, you have to look at personnel training, you have to look at the concept of marketing and every other thing. But for a franchise, already everything is there just for you to fill in the gap. You don't need to start, you don't need to guess, everything is there for you to do. Now, let's look at the type of franchising we have. Basically, there are two types of franchising. We have the traditional format franchising and the business format franchising. The traditional format franchising has to do with what? Product. You have a producer, he has like Coke, like car dealers, car manufacturers, Toyota and all the rest. They give the rights to sell their products to a business owner, and he has the exclusive rights to do anything with that product. That is what we call the traditional. That's the first type of franchising that was developed. Now, this is very common in bottling companies, car dealership, petrol stations, and sometimes you could look at WWCV. It's also a franchising. For WWCV in our own setting, WWCV has franchise for what? GSK products. They have franchise for Pfizer products. That's so that you can relate. Is a traditional form of franchising. They take the right to sell their products and do whatever, they do the marketing and every other thing, but the parent company also sponsors everything, the marketing and everything, but it has to be done through a third party, which is the franchisee. Now, for the business format franchising is a new form of model. It's also product, but it's service based more to the franchisor. The franchisor or franchisor charges a fee. He charges a fee for what? For the use of his business model and brands to the franchisee. The contractual relationship is complex, encompasses the right to adopt an entire business process. It's either the franchisor is selling his entire business process or is selling a predefined role or responsibility. Please note, he might sell the entire business process, he might sell a predefined role or a responsibility. We will talk about that. A responsibility can look at in your pharmacy, they can take procurement from you. That's a responsibility that you have to do in your business. As you are franchising, you are franchising that out and you pay a fee for that. Now, for both franchisee and franchisor, for marketing and advertising, we can also advertise. You can look at the operational standards and procedure, monitoring and quality control, and product distribution. These are areas where franchising can be done. As I said, it's a concept. It's like a mix in which that the business format is not definite. You can franchise any part of your business to a franchise. You can be a franchisor. You can give it as a franchisee for a fee. You have a company that can, like RxAcademy, can supply you products. If it supplies you, RxAcademy, other companies do it too. RxAcademy supplies you product. And you do what? You pay a fee for that. They've taken out your procurement from you. So with that, you might not even need to employ any procurement officer because that has already been taken care of. So those are things, those are business formats, franchising. Now look at economic contribution of franchising. We look at the US because that's where it's most developed. In 2005, contribution of sales from business format franchising was more than 3 times the economic output as the traditional format franchising in the United States. Business format franchising accounts for nearly 6 times as many units and nearly 4.5 as many jobs. It creates a lot of jobs and also the value is higher. Franchisee own most 73% of the establishment that operate under a business format franchise. Traditional format franchise is predominantly limited to the automobile industry, 94%, which is 94% of their total sales. Let us look at the US franchising landscape. If you look at it, if you compare of the year 2005, business format did $665 billion compared to the traditional that did $216 billion. You can see that it's almost times 3. It's more times 3 of what the traditional. That means people are moving more to what the business format. You can see what do you call it? Business services table. You can see that lodging services are done. People are getting different services are being franchised and they are making a lot of profits from it, because if they are not making a lot of profit, you will see more people moving to the business format. Now, what are the advantages of franchising? Let's look at the advantages of franchising. For you to use it as a tool in your business to maximize your potential, you must know the advantages. Now, the training program of the franchisor overcomes the franchisee lack of basic and specialized knowledge. For franchising, the franchisor educates, it gives what? It trains the franchisee on the business model. The franchisee also has a incentive of owning his own business despite the background of assistance from the franchisor. What does this mean? You are the owner of the business, but the franchisor is already what? Giving you a business plan and a business model to work with. Notwithstanding, you are still the owner of the business. That is a lot of advantage compared to you starting from the scratch, looking for, they say practice when you experience, people learn from experience. But you know what? It's no longer like that. It's better you go and learn from people that have done it. When you learn from experience, you fail a lot. But when you go to somebody that's learned from experience, he has formed a model, you will fail less. And that is why it's good to look at franchising sometimes. The franchisee's business opens with the benefit of an established brand name. For those that want to use a brand, they want to use the entire model. Like, let's look at McDonald's, KFC. Anybody that is opening McDonald's, KFC, if it is owned by RxAcademy, it will not be, RxAcademy is just a franchisee buying from McDonald's. McDonald's will be the name, and anybody that sees McDonald's, it's already a brand which you know, and any day you open, people go there naturally to go and see because it's a McDonald's that has standards. Now, you also, less capital is required by reason of assistance by the franchisor. What do we mean by that? Your training cost is out. You don't need to go and register. You don't need to go and do a trademark. All those have been done by the franchisor. He has the model. It's just for you to just put it down and start the business. You just input, what you need is just to pay your franchisor and also products to start with. You need less capital to do that. Then the franchisee also receive assistance in site selection and training. I've seen today a lot, especially pharmacists that are new, that want to start business, have this problem of doing what? Because of lack of experience, location siting might be a problem. But somebody that has done that for 15, 20 years, he has the eye for good locations. So when you have a franchisor that knows that, he also helps you in getting a good location that will improve business, which on a normal day, if someone that is starting business newly might not do. The franchisee also receives assistance in sites. No, sorry. There's also a benefit of national scale of franchisor promotional program. What do I mean? If you have a larger, bigger company like Coke, when they advertise like big companies, it also has effect on the franchisee that is doing the business for them. When the bigger company is being advertised, the franchisee, which is the owner of that business, also partake from that marketing, that brand, that name. It also gets part out of it. The franchisee also receives the benefit of bulk purchase and negotiating. You cannot compare a big business purchasing power and your own a smaller business, an independent business. You find out that if you are partaking out of the bulk purchase, you are getting the price cheaper compared to when you are alone. So this is also a very great advantage in franchising. You get it at the best possible price. The franchisee also has specialized and highly skilled knowledge and experience of the franchisor head office organization on all aspects of the business while continuing in self-employment. What do I mean? You find out that you are the owner of the business, but you have the arsenal of everything you need for your business to work, from stocking to inventory to training. Everything is available by the franchisor, which you won't get on your own. The franchisee business risk is reduced. Why? Because the business risk is reduced because he has somebody that is looking at his back, somebody that is holding his back, somebody that is watching his back. Now, also you have somebody, the services of troubleshooter is provided by the franchisor. When there is problem, you have somebody that will look at what have you done wrong, what are you not doing well, and this helps business to move faster. Also, the franchisee uses the patent, the trademark, trade secret, and formula of the franchisor. And also the franchisee has the benefit of the franchise continuous research and development programs. So you are just doing business and somebody is doing and working at the background to improve, to do new things, and any new thing that is coming on that brand, you are also part of it. So these are some of the advantages that franchising has. And let us look at the disadvantages. Imposition of what? Imposition of controls. Though as a franchisee, it's your own company, but you are controlled. It's remote control. Look at the definition where it is a programmed, so you cannot change anything. If you are running a franchisee, you cannot change anything because the controls, you can't have innovation. Your innovation is limited in a franchised arrangement. Payment of service provided by the franchisor, you have to pay. You have to pay royalties. You have to pay some part of your profit to the franchisor. Difficulty in assessing the quality of the franchisor, no. Is the one dictating the pace, so you can't assess this quality. You have to walk by the quality of the franchisor. Also, restrictions and tying contracts might be contained in the contract. You see, as the franchisee is growing, there might be some contract issues over time. And also, if care is not taken, the franchisee must depend on the franchisor for the business to move on. He cannot have his own thing. You don't say, you can, like an independent one that just wake up one day, I want to change this. Oh, no. In a franchise system, you work via the agreements. Now, why franchise? Why do we need to franchise? Why do you franchise? We talked about maximizing our potentials. Our potentials, franchise is a way. Let's look at it. Companies franchise to overcome financing and monitoring challenges and to leverage on entrepreneurial skills and incentives. A company can expand and grow its numbers of outlets in two ways. One, you can grow it by owning all your outlets, or number two, you can add franchise units under the management and ownership of the franchisee. Now, you find out that you are running a company and you want to replicate, you want to increase your number of outlets. Finance is a challenge. Finance is a challenge. Franchising is a solution in which you have a franchisee that is ready to take that from you. The only thing that you do is to train. You have already a model, is just to train, and you replicate. But for pharmacy, there are laws, and we have to be very careful with kind of franchise that we do. If you have to franchise, it has to be with a pharmacist. Please let us know that it has to be with a pharmacist and not a non-pharmacist. Please, it's very important, especially for retail. It's against the law and for anybody to franchise with a non-pharmacist. Now, people, especially retail, but for wholesale, no problem. People choose to become franchisees because also why? Franchising offer them higher reward than be a salaried manager and lower risk than be an independent entrepreneur. What do I mean by this? If you run a franchise, you are a franchisee, you are the owner, and at the same time, you have a model that you are running. It's better than you doing what? Being working for someone. You see, it has a higher reward because you have the profits, you own the profits, and you will remit a little of the profit back to the franchisor. And it is better than the independent entrepreneur in another way, that the entrepreneur, he goes there alone, nobody to help. He has to learn over time. But for a franchise, you already have all the knowledge for you to operate. Also, why do we franchise? We see there's lower risk and more chance to succeed compared to independent entrepreneurship. What do I mean? When you have lower risk because every information that you need, as we know, information is power. If you have the right information, you move faster. Let's look at it. You are going to Lagos, and the road to Lagos, if you don't have the right information about how to get to Lagos, it might take you 2 years to get to Lagos, compared to someone that has the right information, can get to Lagos within minutes. That's where the operational model is already defined for a franchise system. You have a brand to go with. So this helps in franchising to maximize, so that we maximize. Let's look at the franchise mix. Successful businesses build and manage a hybrid of franchised and company-owned outlets. A company that grows successfully requires an ongoing evaluation of benefits and costs and must monitor costs and any misaligned incentive. Franchising is not a final once-for-all decision. It's common for successful chains to continually adjust the balance between franchise and company-owned outlets. Now, so for companies, you have to do what? You have to look at it that, do you want to franchise? Do you want to franchise? You want to own franchise, or you want your company alone? Let us look at this. You can find out that McDonald's, Midas, Pizza, and every other thing, you can see that they franchise more. They have more franchising than their owned companies. Only except Mr. Price. And you know that Mr. Price is like that because of the system. Mr. Price is reduced price. So very few people, there's less profit in this system. So that's why most of their companies are privately owned. So if you want to replicate 50,000, 20,000 units, you have to use franchise. It's something. How franchise grows. How do you franchise grow? Successful franchise starts with a profitable and sustainable business model. How? First of all, you must have an outlet that you have done the business for 5 to 10 years successfully. You see, successful franchise chain achieve profitable business model on a small scale. First of all, you try it on your small scale on the first outlet before you contemplate growing. Replication takes place when the model shows profitability and what potentials. Look at large franchise that we've had. You can see, let's look at Burger 7-Eleven. They have 33,818 units as of today. Subway, 29,000. You can see people owning that number, and it's franchise. They have a lot of franchise. They mixed it with franchise and company-based. Now, adaptation of franchising. There are numbers of promising franchise models that are well adapted to the conditions in sub-Saharan Africa. That's in our market. And we have to demonstrate ability to strive among the challenges. What do I mean? The franchise of KFC and all others might not work in Nigeria because of the environment. So that's why there are models that are often homegrown, incubated locally rather than being established abroad. Homegrown chains are better positioned than Western chains due to tailored products and pricing, lower overhead costs, and a better alignment with the enabling environment. The way our environment is, we need to do what? We need to tinkle with the franchising to fit our own environment. That's why we have new franchising models in Nigeria that suits us and our own culture. You know, Nigeria, we have a culture, we also have our own environment. So there are different models that, homegrown models that helps us to, there are models that help us in that. And I believe that these models will go a long way in doing what? These models will go a long way in taking us to the next level. So franchising, before I go, franchising is a way of replicating if we use it very well. We use it, especially the business format franchising. If you know that you are a very good professional that does not have the management acumen, please look at the different franchise networks that are available and key into it. RxAll is one. Mr. Sheyi will talk to you about the different models they have. Please look at yourself, analyze your business very well. Look at where you are not doing well. If you find out that your inventory control is not doing well, if you have a model in which they will take that from you and you face your profession, your professional aspect, please do it. All business is, everything about business is for you to maximize your potentials and ensure that you make profit. Thank you very much for listening. Mr. Sheyi.
Thank you very much from Sister. So I very, very excited about this topic, and thank you for doing justice to the topic. I learned a lot myself. I really have some background, very version to this. Okay, if you have questions, suggestions, and comments, please drop them in the chat box for us. We'll attend to them eventually. So we're trying to stay within time. We have about few minutes to the end of the program, but I would like to we learned so much about franchising on its own, and I'm just going to so I'm just going to give us more information about RxAcademy franchising. Then we can also take questions if you have more time. So in the event whereby we run out of time, you can simply drop your questions in the question box, in the chat box, right? Right. So RS Go, RX Faso. So that's the name of our franchise. And here, the theme of this product, no fee franchise network. No fee franchise network. So RX is the name of this product from RxAcademy. Yeah. So to partake in this franchise network, these are the few requirements here. Just a bank statement, undated check, and fill some forms, some KYC and agreement forms, which is actually standard. So the reason for the bank statement and the bank statement actually is for us to assess your the current status of the business. We'll know the inflows and outflows. We'll check the invoicing just to know the current state of the business and to know how much financing or how much investments will make the business profitable. So those are then also have government issued ID card here, which is standard. Then because we're in a regulated industry, we're requesting for the regulators practice license and the premise license. We're also asking for the Corporate Affairs Commission certificate, which is statutory in Nigeria. We also have the use of RxPOS. RxPOS is a point of sale software with high level analytics. It's a powerful tool. It's coming to you free once you are on the franchise network. So we also have the Rx Parcel Agreement document. And also we do a co-signage. It's also part of the things you benefit from being in the franchise network. So procurement sources, the basic procurement source of products for this franchise is from the fulfillment center. Fulfillment center is a holding warehouse for RX International. So we have products, RX scanner verified products. When I say RX scanner verified products, those products are quality products gotten from pharma companies. And we have this very important tool, a hardware that we use to scan to ensure that it's genuine. So any product RX scanner verified. So you are very sure you are not buying fake or counterfeit product. So based on analysis, what we actually, I mentioned the bank statement earlier. So based on the bank statement analysis, we'll do this analysis. Those are analysis we can do inside the how much to move your business to profitability, to grow your business when you're under our franchise network. So the cycle period is 90 days. That's 3 months. And mode of payment is listed there. It's we're in the third generation, 21st century. There's bank transfer into our UB account. We offer pay stacks services. You can drop a bank check issue to RX International. There's pay switch, there's PayPal, and there's PayPal. So any mode of payments you wish to pay with is acceptable. Then we do weekly repayment. Weekly repayment is whatever you're selling back to the system. So it's one of the tools that can grow your business. We monitor transactions coming in and out. We monitor sales on a weekly basis to be able to easily identify areas whereby the business needs to grow better. Things we fix. If we make everything at the end of the month, I will say, okay, at the end of the month, make your repayments. And that's paying below paying. That means the business is not really doing well. You will have lost 4 quality weeks whereby you would have actually tweaking some business profit. So by the time you're assessing we can easily adjust our analytics, tools we use for analysis to be able to make sure that your business is growing. So ideal customers here, pharmacies who want to come under the RX Growth franchise. That's the pharmacy, and you want to come under the program, you're welcome. The second group here is the pharmacies with cash or liquidity problem. Pharmacies with cash or liquidity problem. What they're saying are businesses that they are not stocking properly. The cash inflow into the business is struggling the business such that it's using the let me go back a little. So if you have the cash that is required to grow a business, it's going to be a problem. So those set of people can come under the franchise network and they will have access to the stocks and the requirements, what they need to grow their business, stock wise, POS, the software tool that's needed, anything that is required for a standard business to grow. Anybody on our franchise network will have access to those requirements. Then we also have young pharmacists who require financing to run a pharmacy business. Pharmacists, we all know that when you're starting a pharmacy business, it's quite capital intensive. You require a lot of money to start business. And of course, we know that those funds are sometimes or most of the time not really available. So if your pharmacists come under the franchise network, they have their businesses, they come in and have the businesses, and at the end of the day, business profitability. And online also, they get to learn a lot of analytics, a lot of working tools, they get a lot of experience because as a company, we have well over 30 combat years of experience in this field. The service fee on for this particular product is 2.5%. And also, there's RX Parcel, RX Go, RX Parcel Plus. So this is another product from RX Call. And the tagline here, the slogan here is sell your pharmacy or get us to manage it. It's a which is RX Go Parcel. So this is sell your pharmacy or get us to manage it too. Later on, before we close up, I'll bring them into perspective. I'll see the similarities and differences in these two products. So we have sell your pharmacy or get us to manage it for you. The requirements, so it manages the business and the profit share that the client. Now I mentioned it. Okay, sorry I lost connection for a minute. I'll take it back some couple of slides for you. Sell your pharmacy, let us manage it for you. Okay, I mentioned all the requirements here. RxO manages the business on behalf of the clients. The profit share is 820 ID card, everybody's practice lens, CAC certificates, then CAC document. For the CAC document, we require the list of directors, especially another document in the CAC. Is a point of sale software that is used to manage your business. And we also have the RX Parcel agreement. There's a co-signage. It's a very powerful tool, the co-signage also. Like I mentioned earlier in the other products, the procurement source is also from the fulfillment center. So the maximum order limit is also based on the credit analysis on the customer's bank statement and other requirements we ask. So it's basically our credit analysis would ask the business based on the bank statement analysis and the purchase analysis. Yeah, cycle period here is also 90 days, but the repayment is the mode of payment, like I mentioned earlier, account. You can use a Paystack, InterSwitch, PayPal. You can do a direct bank deposit, and you also drop bank check issued to RxAll International. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier. The repayment is also weekly. So ideal customers here are pharmacy owners who wish to retire. They've gotten to the peak of their career. The business has peaked. They're not pumping in funds as they should pump into the business. So the business is currently or gradually coming down. At that point, if you come under the franchise, would inject more funds into the business, and the business will pick up again. Owners who wish to sell their pharmacies, maybe for one reason or another, some pharmacies want to relocate out of the country, or they want to relocate from where they are currently to that state. Or for whatever reasons they sell their premise to us and will take over those business. And business also on that network, and we apply the same principle onto business. The service fee is 2.5%, and then here's just a little bit comparison, like I mentioned earlier, of the two products that I bought. So in roundup, so we have RxGo, Rx Parcel, and we have RxGo, Rx Parcel Plus. So the tagline for RxGo, Rx Parcel is no fee franchise network, while the tagline for the RxGo, Rx Parcel Plus is sell your pharmacy or get us managed for you. So requirement here, 6-month bank statement, I mentioned it, undated check, the forms, ID cards, regulatory bodies, practice and premise license, CAC certificate, CAC documents, then the use of the RX POS, a point of sale software, powerful analytics. Those are the RX passwords, and there will be a code signage. For the other one, RX Parcel Plus, you can the RX managers for on behalf of the customer. Anyways, the profit sharing formula is 80-20 in favor of RX or to the client. We require government issued ID card, regulatory bodies practice and premise licenses, CAC certificates, CAC documents, especially the list of directors, then also the use of the RX POS. The reason I'm emphasizing this RX POS is because it's a very important tool that is used to manage your business. It's very important. Then we have the signage and the RX parcel agreement also. And the procurement sources for both of these products is the fulfillment center. Maximum order limit is also based on the credit analyst assessment of both bank statement analysis and the purchase analysis for these both periods. The cycle period, 90 days for both products. Then the mode of payment, basically the same thing for these two periods. Then repayment pattern is weekly for these products. Service fee, like you can see here, is also 2.5. Now, the ideal customer for RxGo, Rx Parcel, like I mentioned earlier, pharmacists who want to come under the RxGo franchise, that's the first one. Pharmacists with cash or liquidity problems, the second one. Then the third is young pharmacists who require financing to run the pharmacy outlet. For RxGo, Rx Parcel, we have pharmacy owners who wish to retire, or probably they are relocating, or basically to retire anyways. Then pharmacy owners who wish to sell their premise. Our host today spoke about the importance of franchise network, and the advantages are so numerous that you can understand that it's a standard business that the tools to run the business is there for you. Just come under the network and let's grow the business together. It's pretty straightforward. And we're talking about an industry that is also regulated. It's noting here to mention that RxO is a fintech pharma company. So it's owned by pharmacists, the board directors, we have pharmacists there, and then we run it based on the regulatory body in Nigeria, PCN. So I encourage all of us to reach out to us on our contact numbers that will drop in the chat box. We'll drop it again anyways, or you can reach out to us at info@rxall.net. That's the email address for inquiries. Or you can reach us on 090-105-15756. Or then this information will actually be dropped here on the chat. And it has been dropped anyways. Okay, how about for a pharmacy in Abakaliki? Therefore, we are pan-Nigerian anyway. We cover all the states in Nigeria. We have church expansion to all those regions. So for Moses Daniel in Abakaliki, yes, just reach out to us on those contact numbers that we have, and we'll take it up from there. Then Ruth is saying, how easy is it to change plan from RxGo Parcel to RxGo Parcel Plus? Yes, we have agreement for this. The agreement documentation for these two products are different, But if you go through the agreement documentation, and if you are currently on one plan and you want to switch to that plan, we'll sit down and reevaluate, and it's actually possible. But because there's an agreement for both plans, they're different. So we just have to reevaluate and sign the agreement. It's very possible. So that's for goods. Thank you to everyone that has asked one question or the other. The other questions have been answered here. That's for team, and people are still trying to come into the well. So that's for team and AGK. I hope we've answered your questions. But if you have more questions, please kindly reach out to us at info@rxall.net. So I'm going to drop those information here. Those information here for everybody to see before we round up. So, how many fulfillment centers in Lagos and elsewhere? Is that from Moses? Yes, yes. So, for the fulfillment centers, it's just our holding warehouse that we have, and we have it in different hub spots around the country. So just to make easy accessibility of products from our source to your franchise network. You know, we don't like pharmacists or pharmacy outlets to run out of stock at any given time. So we try to make some hotspot around the country whereby we have this product already there. And because of the analytic tools we have, this RxPOS I mentioned earlier, the software can easily analyze the rate at which you're selling some products to know the products you are going to be needing before they expire, before they run out of stock. And as such, we move such products closer to your franchise network in all the hotspots that we have. So it's easier for us to push those products to you when you request for them. So there won't be any delay in requisition of products. So I hope I'm able to answer that question for Moses Daniel. Okay. Without any further ado, I'd like to thank everyone for participating in this webinar session, and it's been a great opportunity to have pharmacists with a very high load of experience in the industry. He is a CEO of RxAcademy Pharmacy here in Oyo State, Ibadan. He's also an active member of the Association of Community Pharmacists of Nigeria, Oyo State chapter. So I want to thank pharmacist Adebayo Gbadamosi for the time and the knowledge of wealth of information he has passed down across to us. So thank you for everything, and do have a nice day to you.
Thank you.
So on behalf of RxAll and the management and staff of the company, I say very thank you to everybody for participating in this webinar session. So we hope to see you again this time next month for another edition of our webinar session. So thank you, and have a nice day. Have a good weekend.